Hey everybody, what's happening? Meister here, and welcome back once again to the city of Rockport. It's been a little while since I booted up City Skylines 1, but here we are, back in Rockport, and I couldn't be happier. It's nice to boot up City Skylines 1 after spending so much time in City Skylines 2. This episode is going to be a bit different than my usual Rockport videos, as it's going to be completely in live play. Alright, because the city won't be changing shape this episode. It's going to be changing in the way that it functions, because I'm going to be building the public transportation system in the city of Rockport. So we're going to get into buses, into boats, into trains, metros, the whole works. So sit back and relax. Alright, so before I get started on anything public transportation related, I have to fix a few things in the city. So I want to create zones of all the different districts and boroughs and whatnot throughout town, because I want to all the different parts of town to have like their own sort of feeling, own sort of theme. So I kind of started with Deanwood and Argyle, and I eventually made my way onto Old Town, and then I just kind of stopped with the whole district thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and start laying down some of the districts over here. So I'm going to start with this coastal district that is going to encompass everything that is on this coastal area here, right near downtown. And I'm curious to see what kind of name this district has right off the bat. Lake Park. Well, that is going to change. But overall, guys, I couldn't be happier to be back in City Skylines 1, because that means I have technically more content than City Skylines 2 in terms of like DLCs and whatnot. So I want to have all what is on this side of this coastal road be part of the coastal district, I guess we'll call it. But I think it's going to stop right about here. Maybe. Yeah. And then the neighboring district will be part of the industrial port. So, instead of Lake Park, why don't I call this maybe like the West Shore, because technically this direction is north, the way that I see it. So this would be west. So we'll name that West Shore. Now let's do the industrial port. And I suppose I'm going to follow the contours of the mountain peaks. And then I'll come up to maybe about here. And I will include everything here. I gotta say, I do prefer the zone or the district tool in City Skylines 2. I feel like that is a huge upgrade. It's just a little bit less finicky and wonky than the way that City Skylines works. Because in City Skylines 2, you actually have some snapping options when it comes to the district tools. So not only did they change the way it works, now you sort of paint your zone within some lines that you lay down. You don't necessarily paint it like I'm doing now anymore. But you can turn off snapping completely, so you have complete freedom of where your districts go. So that's one feature that I really like about City Skylines 2. Sheffield Park. No, I want it to have a cool name. I don't want to call it like Industrial Port or something like that. I want it to be maybe or Argyle Port, maybe? Argyle Port, because it's technically sort of in Argyle. We'll say that this is like the Argyle Peninsula. just over here. So this would be the, or I suppose I could call it the the Rockport port. No, let's call it Argyle Port. Okay, so that's done. We got the shore area done. Now, everything that is here is going to be a weirdly shaped zone. But everything within... within this weirdly shaped zone here will be the Central Business District. Alright, so this is kind of difficult to lay down these zones. You don't really see very well. Oops, I think I screwed up. There. Oh, what do I do with this little chunk of... I think I'll just make this part of the Central Business District. Even though it's not technically businesses and whatnot, but I suppose we can say pretty much everybody who lives here works downtown. So let's do this, the Central Business District. Just like that. And then we have the Technological Institute of Rockport, which will be inside a district, which I don't know the name of yet. Oh my god, it's actually hard to see all the different districts. The borders are tough to see. All right, guys, we have our next district. This one over here, this is University Hill. All of this big zone over here. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. So this is Old Town. I'm gonna make all of this area part of the same zone. Mill Square. I actually kind of like that name. I'm gonna keep with that. There. Should I include the stadium? Sure, why not? Let's have all of this. Mill Square. Then I'll make this its own neighborhood. And here's a perfect example of how highways split communities apart. Because on the other side of this highway will be its own zone. So here we have Garnet Hills. I'm fine with that name. You know, sometimes the name suggestions make sense. And that's another thing. I find City Skylines 2 name suggestions to be a bit better. Actually, you know what? I'm going to include all of this into this particular neighborhood. We'll just go by the train tracks. Because the train tracks would have been here first. They would have been the first kind of highways to divide neighborhoods. So we're gonna go with that. All right, and what kind of name are we gonna get for this? More Heights. I guess. I think that's okay. More Heights. There, so we pretty much only have 2 more little zones to go. Let's go with this. I'm just kind of following the peak of this mountain range here, which decides where this border goes. There, and let's fill this in. What do we get over here? We got the Cozy District, it looks like. Well, I'm not really a fan of that name. So what I will do instead is I'll do Camden Hills. Camden is actually, I think, if I recall correctly, is actually an area in Need for Speed Most Wanted, which is kind of what the city has been known to be based off of. So yeah, this will be Camden Hills. Oh yeah, and I got one more district over here to do. Let's do, you know, I got a simple idea for this area, so I'm just gonna claw back some of this area. And then this zone, I suppose, will encompass all of this. And let's call this Riverside. Perfect. Simple enough. And there we have it. Look at that. The entire city has its own set of districts now. And as the city expands, I'm going to make sure to plop down the districts before getting started on what I want to build. Okay, so I guess it'll just set a precedence before beginning a build. I'll give it a name. It'll give the area more character. I just feel like creating districts makes for, you know, each area kind of has like its own little theme. I feel like I can connect more with the different areas of the city if I place down these district zones. And I think you guys might feel the same way too. All right, so there we have it. All of the districts are complete. So we can now get into the next leg of this episode, which is getting my fisheries operational. So these have been here for like the last 10-15 episodes now, and I haven't completed them yet. So let's get into that. Now I completely forget, where is the fishing zone? It took me literally, guys, like 2 minutes to figure out where the fisheries DLC is. I just completely forgot because I haven't used this DLC in so long. So let's have a fishing route. All right, so let's see what we got here on the map. So we have a ton of shellfish, a ton of anchovies, no tuna, and a little bit of salmon way across the bay, which is not ideal because then the fishing routes tend to be like too long if I do that. But maybe, I think I recall some of you guys suggesting that I create maybe like an underwater river. Let's try that. Let's see if I create like maybe an underwater crevice. All right, guys, the water has subsided, but unfortunately, as you can see, not much has changed. We still only have a bunch of anchovies and shellfish and a little bit of salmon here and there. If I go upstream, there's more salmon, which is realistic, right? Salmon live most of their lives in rivers, I think. But anyways, and I also noticed while I was moving things around that at some point I've deleted the shipping route, the fish route connections to some of these harbors. So unfortunately, they're just not going to work. I was hoping to get these harbors operational, but you know, the way it is, I can maybe get like half of them to work. But yeah, unfortunately, they're not all going to work. So I'm just going to have to get used to these little icons here that are popping up. Maybe I can have some of them work, like, well, not these two. And I think the connection to all of these ones are broken. Shellfish, I could at least get this one working. Maybe it'll contribute to the city's economy a little bit. Wait, did I say this was a shellfish? Yeah, okay, it's for shellfish. So luckily we got plenty of those. And by making a route, a fishing route, it'll at least bring a little bit more life into the city. What do we have over here? A fishing harbor. That's just a plain old fishing harbor, so I can at least make this work as well. Maybe I'll concentrate this one a bit more on the anchovies, so I'll go a bit farther out to sea. Maybe loop around like this, and then come back into port. There, just like that. So there'll be a few less of these icons. Maybe, can I just turn them off maybe? Or it's gonna, yeah, then I'm just gonna get this icon instead. Oh, I'm gonna get 2 icons. Okay, well, I'll just keep them running. Okay, well, that's out of the way. Now, the next problem I have is I have yet to assign any storage to any of these container buildings. All right, so I'm just gonna mix it up. Actually, what do I have over here? Industrial steel plant. Maybe I should store a lot of metals in here. Because metals is what this building is going to use to create steel product. I don't have any industry yet in the city, so these warehouses are probably going to stay empty for a little while. But, you know, eventually I'll get to that and they'll begin working. So maybe I'll have some room for some unique factory products. And I got some smaller zones here. Maybe I'll have some plastics, some glass, a little bit of a mix of everything, petroleum. In this building here, maybe I'll have some more ore products. And then I got one more little storage building here. Unique factory products, just due to its proximity to the factory. And that just about does it, I think. Yep, perfect. And of course, all of these factories here are just gonna not have any special goods for the next little while, until I get to the outskirts of the city, probably. Oh, I got some more storage buildings over here. Let's just do unique factory products. Unique factory products. Just for now, just to get those icons to disappear. Here, let's do glass. There we go. All right. So that cleans up the port a little bit for now. Okay, so with those issues being fixed, now it's time to address the main feature of this episode, which is the city's public transportation network. So before I get into anything, I just want you guys to take a look at just how abysmal traffic is in the city right now. Look at this. So average traffic flow is 67%. I know this doesn't really mean much, but if you look, most of the roads in the downtown area are just completely red. As we go out into the suburbs, it's a different story. Traffic's not too bad, but all of these streets in downtown are just as red as can be. So I'm going to fix that. Hopefully this episode at least improve the city's traffic flow by a bit. And to do that, I'm going to start with the metro network, because pretty much everything we need is already in place. So let's get into that. Why do I have a random... Oh, that's just a road tunnel. Okay. All right, so I'm going to start on the very edge of this line here. And basically, this route will go and stop at all of these locations. Oh, okay. I guess I have no choice but to be there. And the line will eventually continue off this way, but for now, this is all we got. So let's circle back on all of the stations going in this direction. Oh, what happened here? I probably didn't do this correctly. Can I add a stop here? Yes. No. Here, I'll delete this stop. And then I'll do this. And then I will do this. Perfect. There we go, guys. And look at that. Already we're having a ton of people using these stations. Wow. I'm sure just this one line is probably going to eliminate so much traffic. I'm curious here. Yeah, look at this stretch of highway, guys. This is all pretty backed up. I'm sure that with the combination of this metro line coming through here and some buses, it's going to fix a lot of these problems. So let's keep going. I'm going to create a new line that's going to start at the main train station. We're going to go to this above ground station. And then where's the next one? Oh yeah, that's right. This is one big station that crosses over itself. And then we're going to go up here. Oh, looks like that's the last station for now, but I'm going to add another one here in just a minute. So let's do this. Let's do that. And then this. And then back to the main station. Okay, then I got this line here. We'll start it off. This one follows the coastline. And this line will actually end at this main station here. Because this line is going to go west. It's eventually the plan for this line. So you can see it curves off like this, and it's probably going to make its way all the way through here. Maybe the last stop will be over here. This, by the way, this location, I'm planning on making it like a beach town. But that's that's quite a ways into the future. So... oh, geez, where was I? I'm lost now. Oh, yeah. Complete line. All right, there we go. And is that it for the Metro network? It looks like it is. That's all we got for now. But I'm going to go ahead and add another station up this way. Let's see what buildings we can replace. I'll probably remove this one. There, I'll get rid of that. And I'll just plop a default station like this. Yeah, just like that. Nice smooth curve. So then what I'll do... Oh, no, I don't want to create a new line. I simply want to drag to add a stop. There we go. I'll just remove this one. Oh my god, guys, look, people are flocking to the subway already. Look at that. That's so cool. Everybody's running in circles because I keep deleting the line and adding it again. Oh my god, but this is crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna make an overview of how the public transportation system is running at the end of this episode, just so you guys can see. But it's gonna take at least a couple of weeks before we get some numbers. All right, well, so just like that, that's gonna be it for the subway system. But before I get too ahead of myself, let's make sure that we name them accordingly. So which line is this? So this will be the... oh, that doesn't really help me any, because... Can I click on... Okay, yeah, so this would be like the shore... Oops, cap locks. West Shore. That'll be the West Shore line. Then the next one will be... Here, let's change this to blue. Nice turquoise-ish blue to represent the water. So now this line will be... let's see, where does this one go? Let's name this one North-South. I'll keep it green, and then maybe this... I'll call this one the Central line. Just because it goes right smack dab in the middle of the city and ends up at the train station. So I'm going to call this one Central. Let's turn it over to a nice... sure, maybe a nice orange color. And look at that, some of the numbers are coming in. 25, 137 passengers. I can see this going like way up though, as people start to take public transportation to work. There we go, awesome. Taxis. Now taxis are actually a fair method of public transportation, and I think that they should not be ignored. So I'm gonna go ahead and place a taxi stand in the city. But where is the question? Maybe over... Oh yeah, maybe like over here. Oh yeah, perfect. Wow, it almost lines up perfectly with this fence. So I'm just gonna connect it back up. Boop. And bring this fence over here. And there we go, we got a taxi depot. So we'll get about 25 taxis. I'm sure that's gonna help out a little bit. And now let's get into the bus network. All right, so I've already have a couple of bus stations around town. As you can see, I got one here, one here. These are the plazas and promenades bus stations, and they are quite tiny, which is nice because you can pretty much fit them anywhere and it's not too disruptive for the city. So for this first line, I think I'm just gonna make it straddle the coast. So I'm gonna start it off over here in the industrial zone. Let's see. Why don't I'm gonna build a station right here, right smack dab in the middle of the industrial zone. And this, yeah, this stop will service the main train station. And then I'll add a stop every couple of blocks or so. Oh yeah, I should bring it into this station. Over here. Actually, I'll put it right by the metro station. I'll have another bus stop right here by the passenger port. I'll add a stop over here at the Opera House. And yeah, I don't think there's anything I can break over here. There's a lot of detailing that went on here, so I'll add a bus station right here in Crescent Center in the Old Town. And I think this will be the terminus of this, or yeah, this will be the terminus of this line. So I'll make it loop back over here. And I'll add one final bus stop here in Old Town. And at this point, the bus station will loop back on itself. I don't know, should I have it go back into the bus station? Is that a good idea, guys? Probably is. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Here, I'll have one more bus stop right here along the main drag, unless... Oh, that's gonna block traffic, is it? Yeah, it's probably gonna block traffic. Maybe that's not the best idea. Let's look. I don't know, maybe it won't. Maybe the buses can like squeeze in here between the sidewalk and the cars. But let me go over here, and I'm just gonna add one more stop again at the bus stop. There. And there we go, we got our first line. Now I'm gonna name them as I go. So I'll call this the West Shore bus line. And I find for the buses, you really got to modify the number of buses that it has access to. You know, we don't need 15 buses along this line. We maybe need like 6, in my opinion. You know, 15 buses is just overkill. At that point, it's like, it's not really solving traffic. It's contributing to it. All right, there. So we got that done. Now, now the city's already pretty built up, so where do I go from here? Maybe I'll start a new line from this little bus station. And this one, I'll have it go in this direction. So I'm gonna follow this main road here. Oh, that's the worst when it does that. See? Oh, I thought it was doing it again. Yeah, see? There it goes. Oh, maybe it's because if you put them too close to like an intersection, maybe it does that. Anyways. Then I'll add another station here close to the stadium. I'll add another one right here by the metro. And here we've got a big bus station, so I'm gonna have it go in the station. And then actually, no, not yet. I'll have it go in the station when it loops back, because I want to service this little district over here. All right, so I'll have it loop around like this. And come back on itself. There we go, guys. So I'm gonna change the color of this line. Oh, no, that's the West Shore. I'll just make it maybe like a dark gray. Bus line 2, let's do, see, I don't even know what to name these lines. Maybe I should just leave them. Maybe I should just number them. Because in a lot of systems, they're numbered. So maybe I'll just have this one bus line 2. Wait. Oops. Oh my god, guys. There. 1 and 2. There we go. Yeah, I'm just going to number them because if I get into the names and stuff, I'll name the metro lines, but there's going to be a million bus lines. It's just going to be too much, so I'll start off with that. All right. What is next here? So I got that central line, which services all of these areas. Maybe I'll add a bus to service Deanwood. Deanwood should have its own leg. Actually, I have an idea here, guys. I am going to delete. Actually, before I do that, I got to make sure that I can fit a little bus station here. Looks like it doesn't fit, unfortunately, so scratch that. But I can fit one here. So I'm going to delete this storage building. Get rid of some of these bushes. I will add a small bus station right here. And then what I'm going to do is add a stop right here. Rendering this one kind of redundant, so I'll remove it. And then from here, I'm going to start a new line, which will... This is, yeah, it's such like a weird setup here. This is probably going to be a pretty long line, but I'm going to start it off from that main station. I'm going to have it go throughout these neighborhoods. I'll have one here, one in front of the school, 2 in front of the school. So then this will go down this way, and it will exit over here in Argyle. And complete. All right, guys, so I know this is a weird kind of line. It's pretty long, but I think this is the best way to service these areas. All right, now let's do a university line. So I wanted to start off at this bus terminal. I may as well intersect with a couple of stations. And then this will go through the university. And what do I do here? I'll do this, and then this. I'll add a stop here, and I may as well just get it to loop back on itself, going in this direction. Oh, I can't do that because that's a one-way. But not a big deal. I can simply do this. Boop. Oh, that's a one-way as well. Okay, well, I guess I'm doing a loop around the campus. And back to the station. So that's going to be the university line. Goes basically north, or well, east to west. All right, so for this line, it's simply going to go from this bus station over here. Oh, I have a bus station over here. You know, I guess I'm gonna use it. So this, yeah, let's do that. And then I think what I should do is have like a north to south line. So I'm gonna start a new line over here from the industrial port. I'm gonna have it go from here to here, and then back out to the main road. And then basically I'll just have it run right through downtown. Oh my god, that's so annoying. I gotta add like 50 million bus stations to prevent it from doing that, it looks like. There, I'll have it go all the way through these neighborhoods. You know what, might as well add one here. Get it to loop back. So this will be a north to south line, just like this. This could actually probably be done with trams a bit better, but it's fine. There, Complete line. All right. I don't know, guys. Do you think these two lines, they pretty much run parallel to each other? They end up at the exact same stations, pretty much. But I felt like this line didn't quite service the central business district. But let me know down in the comments what you think. So I think that should do it. Now there is kind of a blank spot over here in Garnet Hills. I am going to wait for that because I'm probably going to make a bus line that goes through Garnet Hills. Maybe the eastern end of Riverside. And that's probably just going to like go up here, follow the river. But I'll get into that a bit later. But I think for now, I got a pretty solid system going on here. All right, I got an idea for one last line. This is going to serve both. I'm going to make it include Garnet Hills. I feel bad. Garnet Hills should have at least one bus connection. So I'm just going to have a bus loop around the neighborhood. Just like this. And then it shall come back around. Actually, nope, not that far. I'm gonna make it come back around and service Camden Hills. So I think a simple loop over here should suffice. Oh my god, wow. Okay, so this is actually a decent little detour. Sure, I'll have a stop here. A stop at the metro before making its way back here. There. So at least now I got a line servicing all the way from Camden Hills to Garnet Hills with more heights in between. So let's go ahead and modify this station, or this line rather. I'll briefly point out that, as you can see here, I changed all of the buses to articulated buses so more passengers can fit in each bus. I'll make this line purple. I'm going to change this into an articulated bus. So as you can see, these articulated bus have higher capacities. So I can fit 70 people in this one. And I'm going to go into the line overview and reduce the amount of buses down to like maybe 6. Just something more reasonable. You know, we don't want like 50 million buses running around the city. So I'm just going to reduce that a little bit. So with that bus being added, let's take a look at how our traffic is doing. You can see here, wow, so it looks like our traffic flow has increased quite a bit. You saw just earlier we were in the high 60s. I think it was hovering around 67% traffic flow. It was just at 74, but it got knocked down to 72. I think it just depends on the time of day. You know, traffic just flows in and out of the city. So you're also you're always gonna vary a little bit in traffic flow. Unfortunately, the city is still looking pretty red. I think maybe I'll have to get into some trams at some point, or maybe I just have to give it a little more time for people to start using public transportation, although it's been a couple days now. But let's take a look at our public transportation system now, just so I can show you guys where we're at. Where am I? There we go. So we're getting about 500 people per week, 500 residents, and then 317 tourists using the bus network, which is pretty good. And we have about the same amount of residents and 518 tourists per month using the metro network. So our 3 lines here. So nonetheless, I mean, this is certainly going to help with the city's traffic issue. I thought it would do a bit better than that, though, honestly. I don't know why traffic is so bad. I really don't know. But look at this. Like, there's a lot of people in these stations. This is pretty cool. I love seeing that. Just seeing people walking out and about using all the public transportation. We got all these folks waiting for buses. But yet, traffic is still pretty bad. Huh. I mean, it's always going to be pretty bad in some spots, especially like these blocks are pretty small, right? There's a lot of traffic lights close to each other. But either way, you know what? It's a good thing that we've done this episode. It was time. The city was due for some extra public transportation. I seem to be having some garbage issues. I'm probably going to want to get that checked out. Landfill usage is at 0% because do I even have a landfill? I do not have a landfill. But garbage processing status is way in the green. So, I mean, that should do a decent job. I think it's just the fact that garbage trucks are unable to reach some of these locations due to too much traffic. Or maybe it's just the fact that I place these buildings along. Oh yeah, this is it for sure. Garbage trucks are not able to get to these areas because it is on a walkway. Oh well, I may just have to get rid of some of these smaller buildings here. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna call it for this episode because this is a pretty long episode. Whew. But I hope you enjoyed it. It was a big episode, a big step forward for the city. The city's all colorful now with all the different metro lines and bus lines and whatnot. So it's pretty exciting. Anyways, with that being said, guys, thanks so much for watching. As usual, leave a like, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of future uploads. And I will catch you in the next one. Take care, guys.